Welcome to Data Talks Live. I'm Dr. Tom, and this is the show where we cut through the noise to get through to the data-driven truth of the issues that matter. Today we're diving into three frontiers of information power: synthetic data, data blackouts, and military data integration. Each tells us something different about who controls the truth in a world built on code. So, what happens when 80% of the data we train on is fake and we can't tell the difference anymore? The World Economic Forum reports that synthetic data, artificially generated information that mimics reality, has exploded from a niche privacy tool to a mainstream AI training source. Companies now use synthetic data to fill gaps in medical records, simulate city traffic for autonomous vehicles, and even test financial market crashes. But here's the catch. When AI systems start learning from AI-generated data, a process researchers call AI autophagy, accuracy collapses. Model reliability declines because the system feeds on its own distortions. The WAF warns that as synthetic data grows, we risk eroding trust in what's real. Deepfakes, cloned voices, and synthetic datasets already blur authenticity. The governance challenge is enormous. If you can't trace whether your training data was ever real, you can't verify your results. The call to action is develop data provenance systems, nutritional labels for datasets, require watermarking on synthetic data content, and treat synthetic data governance as its own regulatory domain, not a side topic in AI ethics. The takeaway? The future isn't data rich, it's data ambiguous. The line between real and synthetic data is gone, and our governance has to evolve faster than our algorithms. And I've seen this in my own research on model collapse, where you can train AI agents on synthetically created data and then retrain and retrain and retrain and test accuracy. And you can actually see that model performance goes down as you iterate and retrain on iterations of AI generated content. So this is a real and concerning phenomenon. So what happens when the entire, when 80% of the internet that's your training data for your LLMs is AI generated content? Does the LLM output slowly turn to gibberish? Has anyone noticed that as they've used AI systems over the years that the performance may have gone down? I sometimes feel like it has. So imagine waking up in a world where half the world's sensors, satellites, and data feeds have gone dark. How long before markets, governments, and trust itself collapses? Reuters calls it data darkness. Their October 2025 report describes how the U.S. government's data shutdown from budget gridlock has cast a global shadow where the Bureau of Labor Statistics, NOAA, and NASA halt data updates. Entire sectors freeze. In 2025, over 11,000 data feeds went offline. From crop forecasts to space weather models, global investors lost access to U.S. economic indicators that price trillions in assets. The downstream effects ripple globally. Without economic data, algorithm trading bonds and commodities lose calibration within hours. Without NOAA's climate feeds, insurance markets misprice risk. Without U.S. intelligence updates, allied defense models degrade, making predictive analytics for threat detection weaker. Reuters calls this the shadow of U.S. data dependency. When the world's most data-rich nation goes dark, the blackout radiates across systems that depend on it. The takeaway? Data has become a global public good, but one that still relies on domestic politics. The new geopolitical frontier isn't territory, it's information continuity. What if every battlefield, drone, and command post was connected to a single live data grid, like a neural network for war? According to Defense Scoop, October 2025, the Army is building exactly that. The Army Data Environment, or ADE, part of the Next Generation Command and Control Initiative. General Jeth Ray describes it as a single pane of glass for every sensor, soldier, and system, integrating data from space, cyber, and ground operations in real time. This isn't about faster emails, it's about algorithmic warfare. The ADE will feed AI models that predict troop movements, resource needs, and potential threats before they occur. The system aims to fuse over 200,000 data systems from Army Joint and Allied Systems. Initial deployments in the Indo-Pacific theater have shown decision cycles reduced from hours to minutes. Long term, the goal is to build an autonomous environment, a military version of a large language model trained on combat data instead of text. But the challenge mirrors the first segment, data quality in government. Garbage in, chaos out. If the Army doesn't track data lineage and bias, predictive systems could misclassify signals or overfit to synthetic war games. The takeaway? The new arms race isn't just in weapons, it's in data architecture. Whoever masters the fusion of real-time, trustworthy information wins. Across these three fronts, synthetic data in business, data darkness in governance, and military data fusion, one theme repeats: trust in data is now the cornerstone of power. If we lose that trust, everything from science to markets to national defense collapses into noise. That's why at Data Talks Live, we don't chase the headlines, we chase the signal. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. Tom. Stay skeptical, stay curious, and always ask, what's the data source?